Hi, I'm Kerry Grinkmeyer of Best of Us Investors, and I want to ask you a few questions. Do you suffer from depression? Do you suffer from alcoholism? How about are you addicted to opioids? Raise your hand if any of those fit your current status. If the whole world was watching this video right now, roughly 211 million of you would have your hands up. We have, and we will have a growing problem, health crisis problem in these three areas. The methods we use, the therapies we currently use to cure these problems have a 5% success rate after 6 months. We stopped tracking them after 6 months, so we really don't know beyond that. That's what I want to talk to you about in this video. It is an opportunity, an investment opportunity to get into the ground floor on a non-existent industry right now, an industry that is addressing the cure of depression, opioids, alcoholism, and what will be a growth in the depression, opioids, and alcohol addiction as a result of COVID-19. It is an investment opportunity of a lifetime, and I'm going to tell you all about it right after this.
Best of Us Investors presents Kerry Grinkmeyer.
Okay, before we dive into this, I think you see that Kerry Grinkmeyer of Best of Us Investors has a little different agenda than most of the talking heads that you see on YouTube. I'm looking for 10% of my portfolio to be devoted to those things that are going to explode in price, those companies that are going to explode in price as a result of an event. And we have a major event, the major event of a lifetime, and that's COVID-19. And one of the unintended consequences of this is the escalation that will occur in addictions, in depression, in suicides as a result of COVID-19. So there is a recognition of this, and there are a handful of companies that are addressing it. If you watched my video yesterday, you saw that I had an interview with Timothy Coe, the CEO of Entheon Biomedical, and he's in the field of psychedelic therapy. They take psychedelic drugs like LSD, psilocybin, and others, and they give small doses, and it changes people's lives. The first I became aware of this was on 60 Minutes in an interview by Anderson Cooper, where he interviewed Matthew Johnson's and Ronald Griffith. And they talked on there about people who had depression, who had alcoholism, and they put them under a therapy with these psychedelic drugs and cured their situation. I then saw it again on the Today Show, and again, it was the same John Hopkins study, and it was done by Tom Costello, and that was my introduction. So with that, I became aware of the potential of these drugs. Just recently, I became aware of the two other companies that are in this. One is MindMed, traded on the over-the-counter at with MMEDF, and it sells for $3.09 a share at the close of price Friday. Its CEO is a gentleman by the name of J.R. Ron. He's the co-founder and CEO, and one of their major investors is somebody you may know, and that's Kevin O'Leary. So I'll I'll encourage you. There are some excellent videos done by Kevin and JR on this subject on YouTube. So I'll encourage you to go look at those. The next one that I found was Compass Bypaths, ticker symbol CMPS, and it's on the NASDAQ exchange. It was founded in 2006 and went public in 2020 at $17 a share. It's currently trading about $43 a share. So it's had some rise, and we'll look at that. We'll go to my my pages on Seeking Alpha, and we'll look at the progressions of this. They're using the psilocybin, the same things that are being used by the Johns Hopkins team. They're also just this last week said they have the FDA approval to do some human studies with LSD. Now, you all know LSD, particularly those of you my age. We remember Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Band by the Beatles and their Lucy in the Sky with Diamonds. As it is, this new study that was just approved last week for MindMed is called Project Lucy. You understand why. Big investors in there is Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel is someone I'm familiar with. He was one of the founders of PayPal. He was one of the earlier investors in Facebook, and he is very progressive in his investments and usually backs a winner. So what we're looking at with these three companies, Entheon, MindMed, and Compass Pathways, is three companies that have recognized an enormous problem that is shared by 211 million people in the world, that is costing depression, we estimate, cost $200 billion annually. Opioid addiction, $500 billion annually. Alcohol addiction, $600 billion annually. This is a health crisis. There is right now no cure. There are 7-step programs, 12-step programs, or there are pills that you basically take for the rest of your life to work with your depression. But what they do is basically addict you to another pharmaceutical. They have had success at Johns Hopkins with this microdosing in these hallucinatory or psychedelic therapies to make a cure. I want you to watch the videos on 60 Minutes and the Today Show and see how this is going to how this is going to progress. Now, in all of these are not short-term investments. These are investments that are going to take maybe 4 or 5 years to reach fruition. But then I look at, in the pharmaceutical world, it's usually a 10-year. I'm looking at this and saying, yeah, but this is a huge problem, and it's a problem that's going to get worse as a result of COVID. So there is a potential that they will speed this up. And then when I reflect on how fast we got the vaccine for COVID, this could happen even faster than that. So I'm an investor. I'm going to buy all three of these stocks. The other thing I think you need to realize is there is going to be a demand that this happens. Unlike cannabis, which is a recreational drug, it will never be invested in by institutions. Institutions cannot afford to be associated with a recreational drug that is I think it's called a Series 1 drug on a U.S. level, and these people are selling it under state authorization without national authorization. So you will never see the government investing in this in cannabis, but you will probably see the government. You will probably see a bill come before Congress here in the United States, in Canada, in England, to say we need to fund this psychedelic drug industry to bring this huge $1 trillion-a-year problem under control, at least to find out if it works. You are also then going to see institutions invest in it because it is such a worldwide problem at the amount in excess of $1 trillion a year. So with that in mind, let's look at my Seeking Alpha sheets and see if we can gain some more in-depth information on these stocks. Okay, this is my Seeking Alpha page, and the first one of these I want to look at is Compass Pathways, traded on the NASDAQ under CMPS. And as you can see, it closed Friday at $42.50. The other thing, the graph always interests me. As you can see, it was $28. It actually, if I remember right, it went public at $17. It has had a high of about $59, and then it's fallen back as the interest may have waned. But this is, you got to recognize, even at $42, this is probably a 3-4 year investment, and that's why I'll only put 10% of my portfolio on any of these exponential growth opportunities that I look at. Again, how I use Compass is I then come down here and I get a reading of what they do. I already know what they do because I've been to their website. I've studied their information. I've studied some of their filings with the SEC, and so I come to some understanding. But this little paragraph gives me some information. What I'm really looking for is down here further. I knew it was founded in 2020. And actually, I think it was founded before that. This is when it went public. It's not making any money. It's not projected to make any money. They have to show proof of concept. They have to do clinical trials under the FDA. And as I said, they're working on a clinical trial now with LSD, but their main drug is the same one that you will see in the 60-minute program and the Today Show program. What encourages me about this is the investment that roughly currently it's 15.7 institutional, 12.76 corporations, and insiders and individuals 12, and the balance is retail investors like you and I. This is important because you won't see this in cannabis stocks. The institutions will not invest in them because it's a recreational drug. This will never be a recreational drug. This will be a pharmaceutical. It will be a controlled substance under the governments of every country that it's in. And it will be developed for the help of the citizenry, not to get them high and have fun, just like alcohol or marijuana. Cannabis will never get the institutional investment, so you will not see the exponential growth. You'll see some good growth, but you'll never see the exponential growth. So that's what this company is all about. It's currently got a fair market cap of $1.5 billion. So then let's go and look at the second in size, and that's MindMed. MindMed is a much smaller company. As you can see, as we go over here, it was a 22-cent company, and it's now a $3 company, $3.09 on the close of business Friday. That's a good bump. If you had bought it back here, you've got more than a tenfold increase in your investment. So they're gaining some traction, and I would think that traction is a result of Kevin O'Leary. As we go down here, they do have a little bit of a summary that they're headquartered in New York. I know they're also, the CEO is actually from Toronto, Canada, I believe. And here are the molecules that they are proposing to get involved in. The psilocybin, which is the one that is featured in the Today Show in the 60 Minutes, LSD, which they just have got licensed for a human trial in that, and this is the one that the Entheon is also working in. So they've got a broad range. Kevin O'Leary is helping them, but you'll go down here and you'll see the institutions haven't jumped in on this. That's why the price is still down around $3. And then also it's insiders, and the big part of this is you and I, the public investors. This is basically saying, if you believe in it, if you believe this is going to happen, you're going to be the ones who take it off the ground. Now let's go to Entheon, and you're going to see next to nothing here. Let's just put that at 1 year. You can see it just went public at 39 cents back in November of 2020, and now it's trading at 66 cents. I will put probably $5,000 in this. Again, I want to emphasize that my portfolio is only 10% will go to the 30 stocks in these high new startup, high leveraged companies. They don't show any information of any interest here because they probably haven't made all that many filings or any real filings. Well, they may have to make some because it is traded on the over-the-counter market, which basically is going to say to some of you who live outside the United States, this isn't going to be available to you. But there's nothing I can do about that. So this is how I use Seeking Alpha. Like you, I don't have the premium. They had once offered it to me free of charge, but they never came through. So maybe they will in the future. So let's go back to the desktop and talk a little bit more about the opportunity here and why we might want to play in this game. Okay. You'll notice on my Seeking Alpha, I am not using the premium edition. Seeking Alpha contacted me a number of months ago and said, we'd like to give you the premium edition so that you can help your viewers in more depth. Well, they never did it. So I still use the free edition in hopes that they'll live up to what they had said. But back then, I had about 20,000 subscribers. I'm approaching now 120,000 subscribers. So I think that'll probably happen. And maybe they'll see the virtue in becoming a sponsor of this channel and our Discord. We'll get into that later. So that's where I am on these stocks. You're going to see, and if you come to our Discord, and how do you get to our Discord? You go to bestofusinvestors.com. You give me your name and your email address, and then I will send you a welcome letter and give you instructions how to get to the Discord. Right now at the Discord, there's about 12 to 13,000 people that we exchange ideas. I am building a part of that Discord to not only provide a look at my portfolio and alerts on my trades, but I'm also going to upgrade it even a little bit more to create a video on every stock that I buy or sell so that you can come in and say, oh, I see Carrie bought this or Carrie sold this. But now you'll be able to go and see a short, maybe 3-4 minute video. It won't be anywhere else but on the Discord, and see my reasoning. Walk with me through my reasoning of why I did or didn't buy something, and that'll be on the Discord. What I want to do is help you make good financial decisions. It's so important that you keep more of what you make by understanding the tax code. And 3, your ultimate goal needs to be to accumulate $24 million that you don't need so that when you die, you can pass it on to your heirs. Because you're here to make a difference in those who follow you and to make a difference in the world you live in. That's why I share my knowledge. I'm trying to make a difference. So that's what that's all about. That's what we're all about. I'm also building on our website, bestofusinvestors.com, we're going to build a university, Best of Us Investors University, where I can invite experts in and teach you the difference between a Roth IRA and a traditional IRA, or a solo 401k, and all those tax entities, the advantages of a 529 program for educating your children. I also want to. The first one is going to be about real estate, so you'll see that. But that's what Best of Us Investors is all about. We're going to eventually be talking about dividend stocks, about bonds. We're growing. So come grow with us, Best of Us Investors. Come to the Discord where we chat, where we get in more depth, and please commit to generating $24 million that you can pass on to your children, your grandchildren, your great-grandchildren, and make a difference in their lives. Okay, let's keep at this.